Hey guys, it's Ricky with TechBud Solutions. So thank you guys again for waiting so patiently. I actually had a couple of summits that to submit. This is my last week for um, this semester in college. So kind of just trying to finish strong in a sense. I have finals week this upcoming week. I did take one final and actually just finished and submitted my final project. So I'm sorry for the delay that I did not get to upload this at 11 o'clock. It is 11:47. So for those that are, Eastern Standard Time, you guys are, probably asleep. So you guys can watch this the following day and just kind of get a little bit more into the groove when it comes to pre-market. So what I'm going to kind of talk about in this video is not so much about technical analysis, but pretty much my success and my best practices for the previous week. If you guys didn't see or kind of follow when it came to the previous week, I traded NUGT, so gold. Gold had a really big drop, especially NUGT is one that we've been watching for at least the past 3 weeks. I had a big drop from safety around $12, and it dropped and it hit lows of 720 is the lowest it ever hit. I'm going to start sharing my screen, and so you guys can kind of see what it is that I was looking for when it came to trading NUGT. And I pretty much want you guys to use or kind of just learn how it is that I kind of analyze these stocks, especially when it comes to, there's thousands and thousands of stocks that I can talk about, but it's the concept that you guys need to learn when it comes to being able to do it yourself. So, you can do your own technical analysis and then make your own judgment on, whether to invest or to kind of skip on that specific stock itself. So I'm going to start sharing my screen and then we can go from there. All right, so when I looked at NUGT, pretty much what my main, so this is 1 year, right? 1 year today. So it went up to highs of 35, had a big drop, and it tends to do that towards the end of the year. And if we look at NUGT, I'm not too sure if it's going to have a 5-year analysis. Well, yeah, obviously it's been, obviously it, was trading at 3,000. Has had a huge drop, and now it's closer, to the dollar value. So with that being said, it has been on a constant decline, but those ups and downs are pretty much what you want to ride. So again, what we teach at when it comes to TechBud Solutions, so it's the group that I started that everyone networks with. So it's only trading stocks that have 10% potential, making sure that you don't hold overnight, especially when it comes to penny stocks, and that you set a stop loss. So understanding that the lowest point tends to be 720 within the past month for NUGT. So let's see if we can find that low. So 720 was the lowest point, and you can see the lowest point right here. So 720, 730 seems to be the lowest it has hit. There's been a low point here. Yeah, 720, as you guys can see. Look right here where my cursor's at. Right here is 720. That's the lowest point it's ever hit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw safety, or just a line that kind of lets me know that is my safety net, overall safety net. There's a very strong resistance right here. Right here around 870, 868, wherever it is that you want to see it. It's a very strong resistance. And with that being said, every time that it hits that resistance, based on its history, at least for the past week, has caused it once it does hit that, it tends to drop back down and comes back up, hits that, and tends to drop back down. So with me understanding that there's a safety at 720 and a resistance at $8, I can make the assumption that when it tends to go anything below 750 can be considered somewhat of a good buy. So I buy in at 750, which I did I believe 2 or 3 times last week. Bought in at 750. I want to talk about how I did it on Friday. So I bought in at 750, and actually I believe I bought in at 770 because it didn't drop that low. Let's see, it did drop to 740, and then it was on a big spike up, and I actually ended up buying because it opened at like 810, had a big drop down to 8. I bought in at 8 and then sold at 865, and it hit highs of 868. The reason I sold at 865, and I told the team I was going to do so before I actually did, was because of this overall resistance I noticed within the past couple of weeks. So I just wanted to lock in my profit, and thanks to that, once I did sell, it ended up dropping to like 840 and then picked back up. But understanding the concept of where the safety nets and where the resistance levels are, you can use the same concept when it comes to any specific stock itself. I did have my stop loss when I bought in at 8, and we can get a little bit closer. So when I bought in at 8, as you can see, $8 is a safety net, as you guys can see here as well. So it tends to catch at 8 and then come back up, right? So the market opened at 8, dropped down, I bought in at 8 again, and then rode it up. So understanding that is that, if it goes below $8, then that means it's on its way down, breaking the safety. Therefore, my stop loss was actually set at 798. So if it would have, continued to drop, I'd have stop lossed out and then at least just cut my losses. So that's, one of my rules. And to not hold overnight, I mean, this isn't necessarily a penny stock because it's trading, at $8.52, or it was trading at $8. But just you're minimizing your risk when you do that, just because you don't know if the stock's going to get delisted or if it can just have like a very volatile movement on the downwards, or just some bad news release, especially when it comes to penny stocks, as they're extremely risky companies. So again, this upcoming week, so on Monday, if I do see it at $8, depending if I see that upward momentum, like I saw a huge volume spike, obviously. On Thursday, it closed at 770 around there. And, on Friday, the market opened at around 799 to $8. Therefore, I knew the volume was high and it was picking up. When it picked up, it hit 810 and then dropped back down. I bought in at the $8 mark and then, was trying to ride it up. Luckily, the momentum continued picking it up. Knew the resistance, so I understood where to sell. So I ended up, setting a limit order at 865, got filled, and then, it just continued to drop from that point forward. So this upcoming week, what I'm going to look for is to see if I can buy again at $8 when I see upward momentum. But if I see the bleeding, with the volume increasing and it continued to bleed down and it breaks that safety, then I'm going to wait more for not necessarily a 720, as that's the overall resistance, but if it hits 720, I see it picking up, I would like to buy around 740 to 750 and then ride it up to the $8, as that's old safety nets become new resistance levels, or around being able to sell around 840, as that's also another resistance level. But just understanding the overall concept of safety nets and resistance levels can really improve your pretty much just your success rate when it comes to trading. And luckily, just last week it was a successful stock for me to trade. Definitely hasn't always been, or hasn't always worked. And UGT is when I traded about a month ago, when it had that drop from $12 all the way down to 7, and I cut my losses pretty short. I cut my losses or pretty high, in a sense of I did not stick to my rule, and with that I lost a lot more money than I felt comfortable losing. But again, you learn from your mistakes and you make sure that you don't repeat them, and then you kind of go from there. So that is my analysis on NUGT and what I will continue to do, and kind of just to give you guys a better understanding on how it is that I do technical analysis when it comes to stocks. Rex is also one that I was trading. Notice that, let's see, we got 1 month, 30 days. Change this. So this is going to be the last stock that I'm going to be talking about. So pretty much, saw this huge drop that I had within that month, but really didn't care too much about that because I knew I was going to day trade this. So I went into a 10-day increment, and with looking at that, actually, honestly, I did not even look into 10 days. What I was looking is that I used to trade Rex all the time, and I knew that it had a really strong safety at 48 cents. And as you can see, it started at 48 right here, December 1st, right? Hit highs of 57. So from 48 to 57, that's about a 20% increase. Dropped down, and then ended up closing, in the sense, still in the green, from 48 to about 51. Market open, hit highs of almost 57 again, understanding that that's a resistance. So we're going to draw a resistance level right here. Volume wasn't strong enough, couldn't pull through, and I'm going to change the color. Understanding that there is a safety right here. This is what I'm seeing. Bounces from 48 to 50. That is what I'm looking at. Yes, that one didn't hit that high, so therefore there is, you can draw one of these. So most likely, if there is a big spike, it's not going to hit highs of, 57 again, probably hit highs of 54. And understanding that and going with the trend can, again, lead to a higher success rate. So understanding these trend lines, where it kind of tops out at, it usually has a pretty, linear, growth or decrease overall. There's a lot of books you could read actually about these trend lines and how you can better judge where the new, resistance will be. Although the overall resistance is at 57 currently. So again, going back to it, safety at 48, resistance at 57. When I was looking at it around, the closing hours, it was at 48 cents. And when I put my limit order at 48.10, got filled at 48.10. 48.11 is what I actually got filled at, and it started picking up, hit highs of when I was trading it, it hit highs of 51.5, which is what I noticed. So from 48.10 it to 51.5, and with that, I was looking at about, almost a 3%, a 3-cent gain, which is essentially almost an 8% profit, like 7 to 8% profit, which is, great. I already had my good trade with NUGT. Now I was looking to trade Rex, and because I did that correct judgment of, understanding the safety that I saw right here, and then I saw that it was holding very strong at 48 cents, I didn't ever see it go below 48 cents, saw it hold pretty well, and then understanding that, I made the judgment of, just calculating my risk, bought in at 48.10, and try to ride it up. Rode it up to 51.5, and, locked it in. Actually, it continued to drop back down, and I sold at 50.5. And with that, I locked in a little bit above 50%, 5% profit. So I only traded $1,000 when it came to Rex. But it was more than I invested, not my full 2,500 that I tend to invest every single time I trade NUGT, but because this was more of a true penny stock, I had a stop loss set at 57.98. As I wanted to cut my losses as soon as possible because this is a really small stock. So if it drops 1 cent, then we're talking about already almost a 3% loss. So just wanted to cut my losses short and didn't feel comfortable with risking that much. Therefore, made the judgment to buy in again at 48, which, when the market opens, depending on where it opens tomorrow, if it looks like it's holding again, pretty strong at 48 and I see upward momentum, I'll make the judgment to buy, at 48 or 49. And then, understand that this trend line tells me to sell around 58 cents as this will be the new resistance level. And that is pretty much just my technical analysis when it comes to trading Rex. Alrighty. Thank you guys again so much for watching. So again, for all those that have questions about how to get started, feel free to reach out to me. The link is already provided down below. You can join our free group. It's TechBud Solutions. You can join us on Facebook, and then with that, you can email me at techbuds@mail.com. The link is also provided down below, where I can send you the welcome doc, and then you can have access once you get approved. It's a free group that you can join. I just have to kind of just pretty much look at your profile on Facebook, make sure that you have, I'm very careful with who I allow in the group. The only reason why is because I want to promote the best overall experience when it comes to these new, entrepreneurs and investors. And I don't want anyone to get discouraged, or for any of those that, aren't really there to promote growth with the members that are in the group, and I tend to filter some of those people out because I want it to be a very positive environment, especially for those that are just wanting to learn and really learn the fundamentals of trading. So I'd love to be able to be a part of your success. Reach out to me if you have any questions, and you can click that link below. I'd be happy to assist you. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I'm sorry that I took so long again for the Sunday Stock Talk. I hope you guys have a good Sunday and now Monday. Take care.